Hello and welcome to the two-man power trip of wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Paz. And with me today is a very special guest. He's a former ECW TV champion 2 times over, former 3-time ECW tag team champion, of course, an ECW World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Mikey Whipwreck. Mikey, welcome in. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, John, that's good. Everybody has this big, long intro. Like, you think that, they know that they're watching. Hey, guys, I'm back. My kid's going crazy out there.
That's right.
But here I am.
Nice. You did a lot in your career. You got to get, the TV champ, the world champ, the tag champ. I mean, it's a good intro.
It's a nice resume, I guess. I'll take it.
So what have you been up to? What's going on in your world?
Absolutely nothing. I am making... When are we airing this?
Next week.
Next week. So my appearances will be over by then. But, so I'm not going to plug them because that would be a pointless thing because they'd be fucking over.
Right.
Nothing. I'm not making any more appearances. I put a thing out on Twitter today kind of explaining the fucking list of hell that I deal with every day. And I didn't do it to complain, but everybody was like, oh, what's wrong with Mikey? Like, is he sad? Is he mad? Like, no, I'm not like any of that. I'm just, well, you saw the list. I'm done making appearances. Like, it's just, it's just done with it. I get confused sometimes if I drive. So I always keep the GPS on just in case with a destination. So, God forbid, I kind of just distract myself looking at the fucking cows down the road. I'll remember exactly where the fuck I'm going. Because that's happened already. I've gone to the store and just completely, like 20 minutes to a half hour has just, like, doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's not good.
I like to laugh about it because that's how I cope with everything.
Right.
Self-deprecating humor and things like that. But,
Is Moose going to be pissed that you're not doing appearances? That's my question.
No, I told him I'll do WrestleCons for him, and I've kind of told everybody I'll do WrestleCon, but that's it. Like, I don't want to do anything else.
So just one signing per year, and that's it?
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Get it out of my system, I guess, if it's even in my system. I mean, I might not even do that. He might ask me, for next year, and I just like, nah.
If you're interested or not, yeah.
Right. So
how you're feeling, basically.
All depends on my mood, and I'll be like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then 2 days later, I'll be wanting to do it, or 2 minutes later, oh yeah, I want to do it, or vice versa.
Can you be talked into it?
Sometimes. It depends. Like if I'm hanging out with Jerry and Shane and usually Hack, it's a good time. But I don't know. WrestleCons I'll do, but as of right now, I mean, that's just it. I'm like, I'm not doing anything else.
Even with Shane talking your ear off.
Yeah, well, that'll be at the time of this airing, this past weekend. But I always got along good with Shane, so it's always a good time to get to hang out.
He's a good guy, good people.
He is. He definitely is. He'll talk your ear off. He will.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Man, he'll talk your ear. I don't know if you remember this. Just want to mention this just because I thought it was so funny. And I don't want to forget because I forget everything too. A few years ago, we booked you in Virginia. We had you down for a signing. And we were sitting down having a beer with Eric Bischoff. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yes, I do remember that. But I told him, too, it was nice finding out exactly what was actually going on at that particular point in time. And hearing it directly from him as opposed to, well, Meltzer says this, and Brian Alvarez says this, and Vince Russo says this. And it's, it was just nice hearing exactly from him. And not just from the creative standpoint, because he admits fully that kind of sucked towards the end. But all the other stuff with the merger, was it AOL?
AOL Time Warner, yep.
Yeah, so it was there was a lot going on. It was nice that he, actually said I was, talented, and that they botched the finish to uncensored. But it was cool. It was good to actually talk to the boss for a little bit and get his take on things. But yeah, that was fun. That was a fun night. I could have talked to him for hours. Like we could have sat there for another, I don't know, it was like an hour and a half maybe. We sat there and talked a bit.
He's great and easy to talk to. And it's
Yeah.
funny. I don't know if you remember this too. He said for you to put something on Twitter about him, and he'd go back at you, and you were like, "Wait a second, I thought we were working here." He's acting like this is a shoot. Like I don't know if this guy is right or not. I don't know if you remember that.
What did he say? It was just quite funny. I said, "Man, that was kind of stiff,"
Yeah.
but it was, it was all good stuff. So while my time in WCW sucked creatively, it was very nice financially, and I look at it a little bit more fondly now, I guess, overall, but it still sucked.
How did you get in WCW? Who was the guy that opened the door? Was it Sullivan?
Well, Kevin opened the door for me in '96 because Nancy got me. She told me to come down to Baltimore at the Great American Bash, come hang out and talk to Kevin. So I talked to Kevin. I was going to go in '96, and I was going to be managed by Teddy Long for whatever reason. I don't know. That was just that was the initial plan they gave me. And then Shane Douglas talked me out of it, so I didn't go that time. And then I don't know, Perry Saturn was talking to Scott Hall. I don't even really remember at this point. But I just remember eventually DDP called me. I think it was on either his Christmas Eve party or New Year's Eve party. He called me and said that everything's good. You know, your contract's written up. Eric has to sign it and send it back. And that was it. So, it was a really easy, thing. I didn't want to leave ECW at that point, but my bank account was very, very red at that point because I was getting all the ring crew checks too, the ring truck expenses and things. So that was also coming out of my bank account. But yeah, it's one of those things where it just kind of happened.
Well, you need the money. I mean, if Paul's not paying, or if you got the bills racking up,
Right.
you got to make that paycheck.
Yeah, it was definitely bittersweet because while it was nice to say, hey, I'm going to go work but Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and I'm thinking Sting and and Ric Flair. I mean, it was just like, wow, that's pretty sick actually. But Paul pretty much told me to go. When I finally got him on the phone, he said, I can't pay you that, or I can't pay you anything nearly close to that. And I kind of didn't really want him to pay me that. I wanted to make some sort of offer, but he just said, you have to go. And it was a really short conversation, and that was it. Boom. Done.
Why did he say you have to go, though? Like, is it because he couldn't really pay you back almost? Or afford to pay you?
Well, I think they had that going on, and he knew my body was pretty beat to shit at that point. So
from the wars of ECW.
Yeah. What was funny though, Terry Taylor was saying that he heard that my body was completely shot from somebody.
Right.
And then he called Jack Victory, and Jack said, "No, that's bullshit. Mikey's fine. Like he'll be fine. He's sore, beat up like everybody else, but yeah, it was just pretty funny that an anonymous source, Paulie, told Terry Taylor that I was basically crippled, which now might be the case. But back in 1998, 99, it was.
Yeah,
I was sore.
When you got in WCW, you look damn good.
Yeah, I was actually motivated for about 3 days.
Damn.
Till it went all downhill.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it worked around. Like I said, I look back at it fondly at this point.
Why is Paulie talking shit to Terry Taylor? That's what I want to know.
That's Paulie. That's just how he is.
You accept it?
You've heard all the stories about Paulie, I'm sure, from Shane and anybody else. So you know how he is. He's Paulie.
Heard a lot of good stories.
I almost would have been offended if he didn't.
Right.
Try to do something like that.
Heard some good stories from Todd Gordon, from Harry Slash, from Shane. Got a lot of good Paulie stuff. Big Sal was just talking to him about Paulie.
Big Sal's not so big anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean, she's already still 6'9", but yeah, he's still not.
Well, yeah, that's. Try to move my camera around so I'm actually looking towards the camera a little bit.
Paul Heyman, liar, genius. What do you think?
Both. I don't even know why he lied. Like, he lied because he didn't want to tell people the truth. Which, wait a minute, that actually makes no sense because that's usually why people lie, because they don't want to tell them the truth. But Paul did not like giving people bad news, and Paul did not like being the boss. And he did not like confrontation, I don't think. I think he likes it on TV, confrontation, but I don't think personally he enjoys confrontation with most people. So I just think he did it to, avoid all that. And then knowing that he's the boss, what are the guys really going to say? There weren't too many that told him to piss off. Sabu did. But there weren't too many that would actually just tell him, "Oh, you're full of shit, fuck off, Paul." And then you just got to learn to accept it. That's just how he is, and
What about you?
Yeah, I have a career in the first place because of Paulie. So, and overall, I did okay for myself. It wasn't like he fucked me over. Well, a little bit at the end. I didn't get any money, but at this point, it's so long ago, and what I may have felt in 2000, 2001, I definitely don't feel now. I'm really at a point where I'm just like over it. Like there are people I used to talk to all the time. I'm not going to mention names because I'm just not in the mood to deal with it. But there was somebody I talked to all the time in ECW, every day, pretty much every day, 6 or 7 days of the week. And when I went to WCW, talked to them every day, like pretty much every day, same thing, or at least 4 or 5 times a week at that point. And then that person went to WWE, and I never heard from him again.
Wow.
Yeah. Until I got a phone call a couple years back, which I thought was to just say hey, which I thought was pretty cool, but it turned out that they actually just wanted something. So it was disappointing, and that part still bugs me. But whatever. It is what it is, and I'm not going to deal with it.
You're allowed to say who it is.
Oh, I'm allowed to say who it is. I'm just not going to because I don't even need the fucking drama.
Gotcha. Why?
That was funny when it would be drama, and then it would just be like, Then I would get annoyed. I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. And I'm at a point where there's no heat with this person, but I'm just, if I saw them, I'd say, hey, what's up? And that would pretty much be it. It's just shitty that after talking to somebody every day for 3, 4 years, that's kind of what happens. But, oh well.
Why is that though? Like, why do they go to WWE and stop talking to you though? It kind of doesn't make sense.
Well, I guess at ECW we saw each other all the time, we saw each other almost every day. So you kind of had to talk to them. And then when I went to WCW, they were not in WCW, and I think they were staying close at the potential of maybe me putting a good word in to get them a job. And then this person went to WWE, and then that was it. Never heard from them again. And like I said, until a couple, years back when they wanted something. Under the guise of just calling to say, hey.
Right. Typical.
But, what are you going to do? Fuck it.
Damn, now I'm going to be thinking about who the hell could it be. Damn it.
I'll tell you off the air who it was.
All right. I was going to say, now my mind's going to be racing all the time.
You probably won't be surprised.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just going back to WWE for a second, because that just fascinates me. I love when good guys get recognized and they get to, not that ECW small, but you go to a bigger company and you kind of get recognized. But did you think that it was almost too many guys there? Because they had so many guys on the roster. It was so many guys that were great could get lost in the shuffle. I know you work Billy Kidman, you have an impressive match, but you can get lost in the shuffle over there pretty quickly. It was a lot of guys on the roster.
There were a lot of guys, and they would bring all these people to TV. You'd have to call. This is the weird thing. Well, it wasn't really weird. You get your booking sheet in the mail with your plane tickets or with your paycheck, and you get the booking sheets for the month, and you go through. You'd see the Nitro here and Tuesday night tapings here and house show on Wednesday. Thursday was Thunder and all the house shows and everything else. And I would look through the house shows. My name was never on the list. Every show I had to line up. So I'm like, okay, nope. And then you'd have to call on I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday, you'd have to call into this 800 number, and you'd have to listen to the talent list for Nitro. So you have to go through the whole thing. They'd be like, Medusa, and then Mikey Whipwreck, and then Macho Man or whatever. So I'm like, well, okay. And I heard my name a couple times, and I would go. But you see in the locker room, there are fucking people everywhere. And 80% of them weren't doing anything. They were just fucking there. So, I mean, I can't tell you how many times they booked me at the last minute. And they'd overnight my plane tickets. And they'd pay, $2,500, $3,000 for my plane tickets. And then they wouldn't do anything.
Crazy.
I would just sit there. I think this is crazy. But, when you have that type of money, I guess.
That's just crazy. And that's interesting the way they do that. You got to call the number and
you had to call, and then on Monday or Tuesday you had to call for Thursday. It was for Nitro and Thunder. You had to call in and call the talent hotline.
Wow, is that normal? I don't know if I've ever heard of that before.
I don't know. That's how they did it, which I guess was, in a way, was kind of good. You have to call, see if you're going there. If you were on the list, then you figure, well, I'm staying home, which happened to me quite often. But I mean, it seemed to work out all right.
Do you get paid anyway for being at home?
Yep.
Guaranteed contract?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. We would get paid from the 1st to the 15th, and then that check would come like Tuesday the following week. And then you get paid from the 16th through the 30th or the 31st. So the first paycheck of the month was always the same. It was 15 days. And then the second check of the month was either 30 or 31 days or 28 days in February, potentially 29. And it was nice. My bank account went up really quick. I knew exactly what I was getting paid every, because they take your yearly income and they divide it by 365.
Right.
And you get paid per day, and they just figured it out. 15 days is this. 16, 17 days is this, or whatever it was. So I could plan ahead and actually know what I was getting paid.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which was cool. I'm not going to complain about the pay.
Would you be upset, like, if you weren't booked, or are you happy, like, hey, I'm getting paid anyway? You guys are paying me to sit home.
In the beginning, I was getting very antsy because I was ready to just do something. And then out of the blue, they booked me for that pay-per-view with Kidman. Like 2 days before, they tell me. I'm like, okay. And then I did nothing again until I think the pay-per-view with Scotty Riggs.
Yep.
In Seattle. And then I did a couple things here and there. I did like a couple TV matches. I think I worked like Viano 5, Bobby Blaze.
Van Hammer.
Dude. Let's not go there. Hack. But for the most part, I wasn't really doing much. I wasn't doing anything. And I was like getting antsy. And then in August of 99, it was the week after. What's the week after? 2 weeks after. It was that fucking Nitro in Las Vegas where they had Kiss come out.
Yep.
I had that match with what was his name? Chase Tatum.
Yeah.
It was just fucking dreadful. Like I've never been so mortified of a match in my life. And yeah, as soon after that, I quit. They were pushing Evan Courageous, and I got mad. They put the cruiserweight belt on Evan Courageous, and I stupidly got mad and then quit.
You regret that?
Looking back, it's a very stupid reason to quit. But I wasn't going. But again, that's when you have to look back now. Well, if I didn't do that in the first place, if I didn't go to WCW, I never would have met Bobby Heenan probably, and would be on like on a first name basis with Bobby Heenan, which was fucking sick. Cool moment with Randy Savage. So yeah, I got to have all those things, and my bank account went into a nice place. And when I came back, my body felt a little bit better because I wasn't really doing much. And then we got to do stuff with the Devil and Tajiri. So it all worked out the way it did, and I'm not going to complain about it. At the time, I was complaining like you would not believe. But now I'm sitting here in 2021. I'll be 48 years old on June 4th.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. So figure that out, everybody. The young Mikey is now 48 years old.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Say it ain't so.
It is so. That's a great video, by the way, that Paul did.
Yes.
That angle got us kicked off Sunshine Network in Florida. Good stuff. Nice. But yeah, no, it was, looking back, it was a good experience, and had some fun. Frustrating as well, creatively, but it all works out in the end.
What'd you do with the Macho Man?
It was after the match with Scotty Riggs, and I'm walking down the hallway, and he's coming the other direction. And he's fucking got the macho walk and everything, and I'm like, okay. And as he's walking by, he stops and goes, Mikey, brother. He goes, you have the sun, the moon, and the stars. You are indeed intergalactic. And then he gave me the fist pump, and he kept walking. And I'm standing there in the hallway like, that was fucking amazing. I don't know what the fuck, but that was just fucking amazing. Because there was no bigger Randy Savage fan than me. In the late 80s. He was my fucking guy. Hated Hulk Hogan. Hated Hulk Hogan. But yeah, I mean, good stuff with Randy. Meeting Bobby Heenan, talking to Bobby Heenan. Kurt Hennig, Macho, Mean Gene. Funniest thing about Mean Gene was hearing him curse in the Mean Gene voice. It was just funny stuff.
What did Savage mean, by the way? Did you ever find out what the hell he's talking about?
My T-shirt.
Oh,
had okay. Gargoyles and whatever the fuck was on it. But he thought it was a cool shirt, but just you'd see him walking down the hallway, just by himself, with the macho walk. You know what it is.
Yep.
And then does the whole like this, and then the fist pump. I'm like, wow, that was fucking amazing. One, the fact that he knew my name was awesome. Was the first thing that fucking blew my mind, and the fact it was just Randy Savage doing a Randy Savage thing to just me. Purposely to me, not like you're at a rock concert and the lead singer points at you,
right?
You know what I mean? This is like he was literally talking to me, so it was very fan like,
yep,
Mark like, if you will. But I'll fucking take it all day.
That was like a good friend of mine. He was at SummerSlam '97, sitting near the first row, and he goes, "Oh man," he goes, and we were sitting differently. We were sitting up top because we couldn't get as good seats, but still great experience. He goes, "Oh man," he goes, "Did you guys see Bret Hart gave me the middle finger?" We're like, "What were you doing?" He goes, "Nothing," but everybody around me was giving him the finger, and I was like, "But he probably was directed it to the whole crowd."
Yeah.
It was one of those things. Like, no, it was to me.
That's funny.
With the Macho Man, I wanted to ask you this: did you see that documentary that they just did on him?
I did.
What'd you think?
I think they harp too much on the Elizabeth shit. I mean, I know you got to cover it, obviously, because it's that's you think of Randy Savage and Elizabeth. I mean, that's just that goes back to my childhood as well.
Yep.
But I think it was a lot of. I think they kind of buried him a little bit with the way people thought he treated Elizabeth. And, I don't know if there's actually any proof that he did this. Now, I'm sure he did because everybody fucking says it. But I think they harped on a little bit too much of the, some of the negative shit.
Yeah. I feel like, though, she was so good looking, I wouldn't trust any, and he's paranoid as it is. I wouldn't trust anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not saying he was completely wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit
paranoid,
overboard.
Yeah.
A little too paranoid. But I don't know. It was like I don't know. I mean, you have to talk about it, obviously. But I don't know.
But the Gorgeous George stuff, that's where, to me, it took a downward turn. Like, didn't need her on there, didn't need her son, didn't need her sister.
But they
with a love sponge.
They fucking buried him.
Yep.
So, which I just don't think was necessary.
Made no sense.
Yeah, and he's not here to defend himself. So, is it true? Not true? Slightly exaggerated? Downplayed? I don't fucking know.
Just crazy.
But
It's like,
I mean,
he did ecstasy and all this other stuff. I don't know. It was like, do we need that? All those guys are doing something. Do we really need all that crap?
well, the way Randy Savage cut his promos, the way he acted, would you be surprised?
No.
You know, it's like him and Warrior drinking one of those big giant fucking party size coffee things before SummerSlam '92.
Yeah.
You know, are you surprised that they're all fucking geeked up on caffeine and who knows what else?
Yeah.
But
And
I don't know. I
didn't like that.
Some of they're doing a documentary on the Macho Man Randy Savage, not Randy Poffo. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I don't know about the Macho Man. Like I don't know about this shit and the wrestling shit. I don't need to know about, you know, what he may not have done. Same with the Warrior. Like, you know, well, he refused an autograph and then he had to cut a promo and he's getting mad at Vince for doing it. Okay. I mean, great. I mean, this is kind of shitty, but I think everybody's done it. He signed an autograph for me when I met him.
Right. Me too. Same thing. Yeah. Twice.
Yeah,
I met him,
so I mean, so you meet somebody at a bad time. You know, should he have done it? No. I mean, especially to a kid. If it was an adult, whatever, they'll deal with it. But, you know. And did he really do it?
Right.
He was saying he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he did.
We don't know. He's dead. So, you know. Yeah.
That's right. Again, another thing. You know, the guy's dead. What are you going to do?
And they harped on the conservative stuff, which I thought was a little weird. They could have spent more time on the Rick Rude feud or something like that, but they went into the conservative stuff.
That's what I mean. Like, okay, are we talking about the real life person here? Or are we talking about the character?
Yeah.
Which is where it gets crazy. The business. You know, because you see these people as these characters in real life. You go see them. Oh, it's been talked about a million times, like movie stars. You know, you don't go walking around. You meet Sylvester Stallone, you call him Rambo. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, you don't go to a Broadway play and watch the person playing Mary Poppins. You don't call them Mary Poppins. But you get a wrestler on TV and you meet them. You're going to call them the wrestling name.
Yep.
It's very bizarre.
It is. I remember one time I was at a signing and somebody right in front of me, they were meeting Raven. This is like years ago. And he goes, "Hey, Scotty." And he like stopped right in front of him. He goes, "Do I know you?" And the guy's like, "Why?" He goes, "Are we on a first name basis?" He's like, "Oh, sorry, Raven." And then he signed again. Like he got annoyed that the guy called him Scotty.
But like that's how it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very weird. Like if people call me John in wrestling, I get annoyed by it. But it makes perfect logical sense that yeah, it's weird. I don't. It's a very bizarre thing, and that's one of the things that wrestling has not caught up with yet.
Yeah, that's like if I go to meet Hulk, I'm not gonna be like, "Hello, Terry. Yeah, how are you, Terry Hogan? Or Terry Bollea. How are you?"
It's bizarre.
You got to respect the boys. And you're Mikey. Come on, you got to respect the boys.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like if anybody called me John, I'm like my mother calls me Mikey now at this point. Unless I'm in trouble, then I get the full John Michael out of it. But yeah.
So if we could just rewind back to the beginning, and if you like getting into ECW, how does that happen? That crazy group of bandits out there. How'd you actually get in?
I was on ring crew, and after the ring was together, my friends and I would we test the ring, you know, check the boards, the ropes, everything, and we would just mess around, do high spots and stuff. I think I might have done a backflip off the top rope, landed on my feet, and I think Joey Styles saw me. Joey got Paul. Paul looked at me, and they said, "Do you want to wrestle?" And I'm like, "Sure." That was it.
Untrained.
Pretty much untrained. Sonny Blaze had a wrestling school. He didn't really know very much. He taught us to work the left and say hello to everybody in the locker room. And after about 2 weeks, we were kind of training him a little bit. But he wouldn't charge me to train because he said I'd never make a dime in the business at my size.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So I would clean the gym That's how I paid for it, and I'm the one that got over and made money in the business, which was kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Good
You
for
hate
me.
those words.
Yeah,
How'd you get on the ring crew though? Like, who owns the ring? Who's bringing it in?
Sonny Blaze
Oh,
owned
it's
it,
Sonny.
and yeah, and Todd Gordon rented it. And we did 1 or 2 shows um, before I started. It was like that second or third show that I started working.
What'd you think? Like, wow, this place is different. This isn't like, Macho and Elizabeth and the pageantry of the WWF. This place is crazy. What'd you think of ECW?
Oh, I loved it because it had a lot of top guys there. When I first started, I remember looking at Shane Douglas and thinking I saw him from like the back side, and the guy was huge. I thought it was Lex Luger was there. And I turned around, Shane Douglas, and I'm going, wait a minute, he's supposed to be a little guy. Was that I'm saying to myself, oh fuck, I'm really little. Like I am like
Yeah.
tiny. Like 5'9", 5'8.5", 5'9". Next to Shane, who's almost 6 foot, 5'11".
Yep.
So I'm like, oh my god. But and I'd never really been to an indie show before that. Like I had no idea like what to expect. Like I never went to one. It was always WWE at the Nassau Coliseum or the Garden. But you had Terry Funk in the locker room, Jimmy Snuka, Hawk, Kevin Sullivan, Woman. Who else was there?
Sabu.
Mr. Hughes, Seb. Well, I didn't really know Sabu at that point. I said, "Who's this fucking scarred up guy?" I knew. Well, I wasn't at an indie show. I went with Sonny Blaze up to some shitty place on the border of Canada in New York. So I'd met Taz before and Dreamer, and of course there's Paul Lee. Sherry Martel was there at that point.
Pretty good crew.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I'm just like geeking out. Like oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then we had guys like Sandman and Tommy Cairo. Who Tommy Cairo I knew from because he would come up and train at Sonny Blaze's ring. So he was pretty good to us, and he actually let us. We trained with him. He actually let us do stuff with him. He kind of run spots with us. Most of the guys that were there would just beat us up. Not badly beat us up, but they would just take the heat on us just constantly. But Tommy Cairo and Chris Michaels would actually work with us. They let us just do some stuff, which was cool. So I knew Tommy.
The Iron Man. Iron Man Tommy. The Iron Man Tommy Cairo.
Yes, Tommy Cairo. Who else was there? I'm trying to think now. How many more people we could talk about who was there?
Stetson, Hot Body, old guy.
Yeah, but I didn't know them. I mean, I'm talking like people. He wasn't there when I first started. Yeah, I think that might have been all the top people that were kind of there. There's probably a few we're missing. Salvatore Baloma was there.
Oh yeah, can't forget.
And I was like, what the? I'd never seen him as this gladiator thing. I remember him with the mule kick. That was like the job guy in WWE.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I see him with this big beard and this gladiator type outfit. I'm like, what the? Throwing stuffed animals to the children. I go, I don't know what happened to this guy, but he seems to have lost his shit.
He's no longer the WWF sports entertainer.
No, he was.
He was crazy.
But that gimmick probably would have got over.
Could have, yeah.
But I guess he came up with it a little bit too late.
They didn't want to use that, I guess.
I guess that would be almost copy Hercules.
Kind of. Yeah, similar.
When Herc came in, he was doing the whole. He had like the leather outfit and everything else on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The chest gear and everything, but yeah. But yeah, that's how I got in ECW, and I was just in awe all the time. Watching Terry Funk, putting a match together. With Shane Douglas and things. I'm like, wow, this is just fucking crazy. Like, I do not belong here right now. Watching Hawk put his makeup on. Or screwing the spikes into the pads. Just like shit like that was just crazy for me.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Amazingly cool.
When he first puts you on TV, what does he say he wants to do with you? Does he explain like the
Nope.
character and the
Nope.
push, or he
Nope.
just throws you out there?
Nope. Nope. Nothing. I didn't even know it was me. He said, "Mikey Whipwreck, go to the ring," and I'm looking around. I had no idea that was me. Mikey Whipwreck, go to the ring, and I'm looking around. Finally, he comes over and goes, "Are you going to go to the ring?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "You're Mikey Whipwreck." I went, "Oh, great." So now it was my first match. It was against Mr. Hughes. So I'm already fucking shitting my pants. And now I'm walking to the ring thinking I'm in trouble already. So I thought this was going to last about 5 minutes, my career.
Where does that name come from? Is it Dennis Whipwreck, the promoter from
Yeah,
Maryland?
I guess he was using the job guys and taking just different promoters with their last name, kind of playing with it a little bit.
Because was it what Good Heart, but he turned the guy into Heart Good or
Hard
something?
Good, and then I don't know. There might have been somebody else, but I didn't follow indie wrestling, so I had no idea who Dennis Whipwreck was. I go, where the fuck did this name come from? I'm like, this is terrible. So I remember telling my friend Stormin Norman, he was like, he was all happy and cool shit that I got to do something, and I'm like, dude, what about this fucking last name they gave me? He's like, yeah, it's fucking terrible. Like, this is awful. Like, fuck. But
It's
here I am,
weird. Like
20
he
some
just
odd
makes it
years
up
later.
like that.
Yeah. Horrible name. Horrible name.
But it stuck.
It stuck. Like, when people find out I was a wrestler, they go, "Oh, what's your name?" I'm going, Shipwreck? No, Whipwreck. Oh, okay. I couldn't have a cool name. Like Randy Savage. No, I'm Mikey Whipwreck. I would just feel stupid just even saying it. My name is John. Just call me John. That's fine.
Did he ever explain to you like where it came from, or he just was like, "Nope, that's your name. I like it," and go out there and go
That
wrestle?
was it. I don't. He didn't. He didn't expect me to be more than a job guy. You know what I mean? He didn't know that I would start to get over. Like, he didn't. He didn't. I don't think he planned it in his head. He just kind of one of those things that just happened. Um, but yeah, but the whole Buffalo thing, because of the Buffalo Bills, they were into the Super Bowl about 36 times and never won.
Yep.
So they were losers, and the song. So yeah, I mean, he pretty clever. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of, hey, let's make it from Buffalo because they lose all the time. But Paulie was a big Giants fan. So
New York guy, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, so's Buffalo. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like Canada South.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more like closer to Canada up there. Yeah, screw them.
But yeah, it all worked out. Like, I can't complain.
When you initially start getting a push, were you like surprised at your popularity? Like, wow, I can't believe I'm really getting over here.
Yes. Even to this day, I am, because I would hate myself. If I was watching TV and I came out, I'd hate that fucking guy. Especially in Philadelphia. But I think they just realized that I was literally taking a fucking beating. And doing everything but killing myself to make these guys look good. So I think they appreciate it. Except that fucking one guy in the front row, the sign guy. He hated me with a passion.
Yes,
hated me. He wouldn't even talk to me outside when the shows were over. Like, fans would linger, and of course I was a babyface, so I was allowed to talk to people. And he wouldn't talk to me. I have to stay in gimmick.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
It was very weird. I'm like, okay, guy, whatever.
That is a tough crowd. If you think about it, it's like, okay, how is this character going to get over with this crowd? I mean, they hate everybody. They're so tough on everybody. But just
take
really,
insane beatings, and they appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, you really got over it.
Yeah,
strong.
Because they were smart too. I mean, as far as fans could go back in '94. I mean, so they kind of knew what was going on. But even though they thought ECW was kind of more real, but they knew I was out there just getting killed. Like, I mean, I'd fly over the top rope and not put my hands out and just smack on the floor, which today sounds really dumb in retrospect.
Yeah.
But you're 20 years old, 21 years old. Nothing hurts. You're invincible.
Yeah.
Until you're not.
What did you think about like the popularity? But then getting the push, getting more TV time. Like you said, like not really trained, but almost teaching yourself on the job, like how to work and stuff. I mean, what did you kind of think about that as you're going along, getting more confident and more comfortable?
No, no, because every time um, he was like adding to it. You know, like okay, I actually had to do a move at one point. I bipped Jason off the apron, and then I actually had a match with Jason where I actually had to have offense and kind of do things. And then it went from that pretty much like a month or so later, 2 months later, to team with Cactus, the Public Enemy. So it was a constant up. There was no like, okay, cool, I'm good now. You know, that came 90, 96. I felt nervous and shitty before every, like, literally, like, oh my God, every match. And the worst one was the match with Cactus. I was fucking, like, again, no bigger fan of Cactus Jack than me. You know, then I got to fucking team with the guy and learn from him. And now we have to have a match where I actually have to remember things and do things like to him, with him. Like, I was like marking out, like, I was just like, oh God. You know, and then after that, I kind of like this for a while. So at that point, I felt it was just putting matches together. I was teaming with Spike a lot. I think with PG-13 maybe. I think they came in around that time. Yeah, and they got into stuff with PJ in '97. But I mean, that '96 and '97, I was kind of just doing my own thing, just kind of hanging out, and just kind of learning and doing that and getting to work and just kind of put things together. And every now and then you'd be doing something, and you'd be like, oh, that's how that works. And you feel yourself getting these levels, like, oh, I got it. Ooh, I got it. You know, like when you're playing guitar, you get to a certain point, like I'm stuck, and then you're like stuck in the same spot for weeks or months, and then you fucking get it, and then it clicks, and you're like, oh shit, and you progress a little bit, and then you hit another wall where you get frustrated. But I just got to learn from everybody. Like I don't know how many people. I mean, I got really fucking lucky. I had no anything, right? I thought I knew what I was doing. I knew how to get beat up. Like that part I had in selling. I had that was just natural to me. But I got to sit and learn from Terry Funk and Hawk and Kevin Sullivan and Sherry Martel and Shane Douglas and Jimmy Snuka a little bit. You know, and then Eddie Guerrero comes in. And Malenko comes in. Benoit comes in, Scorpio comes in, and I just get to learn, like even Sabu, get to learn from all these people, as like a clean slate. You know, I didn't have 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of bad habits, or thinking I know what I'm doing. I had no fucking clue, so I would just sit in the locker room and just listen and watch, you know, and ask questions, and be respectful and polite, and just appreciate it because, I mean, Paulie told me all the time, he goes, you have such an opportunity now to learn from these people. You know, he goes, so just take advantage of it. And I did. I'm just constantly, just like a sponge. You know, I was watching wrestling all the time. Old stuff, new stuff. So it was an amazing time looking back at it. I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately. Because it's just, but yeah, man, it's just, God, I was fucking lucky.
What did you think about winning the world title?
Again, another thing, like, come on, we're in Philadelphia. Like, there's no fucking way in hell this is happening. And then it happened. And I remember when Cactus came out after I won it. You know, and you do take. I mean, I do. I don't know if I know Bret Hart does.
Yep.
But you have a little sense of pride of like, I've accomplished something. I haven't really accomplished anything. They're giving me this belt, but I've worked hard. I feel like I've earned it, and it's something that, whether it just be an angle or anything, that this company or the bosses specifically believed in me enough to give me the storyline and to do this as like a big deal for a company, because the world title in any company, well, maybe not today, but was a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I didn't walk around like, oh my god, I'm the fucking champion. Not like that. Just appreciative and just fucking thrilled that this company took the time to do the storyline and have a nice big payoff for me. And that they trusted me enough and they liked me enough to do that. Had nothing to do with being the best or anything like that. That's all bullshit. But I remember having Cactus come out, and I was like, I was fucking like thrilled, like I was happy as shit. You know what I mean? And then Cactus comes out, starts hugging me, but we were doing the I didn't like him at that point angle, so it was very like I really wanted to hug him, because he's holding me and shaking me up and down. Goes, Mikey, I'm proud of you. Congratulations, you've done a really good job. So he's like saying this, just loud enough for me to hear it, right? And
Yep.
I wanted to grin, like smile from like ear to ear, like hug him back and everything else. But the storyline was, no, you don't like him. You don't like Cactus. Like,
Right.
okay. So that was disappointing that I couldn't actually show true emotion at that point. But it was cool. And then having a locker room come out and they put me up on their shoulders. It was cool as shit.
Quite a
Again,
moment.
all fake, but there is a sense of realism in there if you look at it from a character and a job performance. It's like getting a nice raise or promotion at work. Only to a month later say that you suck and we're taking back your promotion and we're demoting you again. But it was fun. I can't I cannot complain.
It's an awesome moment, though.
Yeah, it was great.
When you kind of look back and think about it, it's like, okay, I'm winning the world title, but it's like kind of fluky. I'm not really getting a lot of offense. Do you think like it's not comedic, but it's almost like like you could be better than that as champion? Almost like the character and the gimmick held you back at all, or you were okay with like where you were in the gimmick?
I thought it was holding me back, but Paul said no. It's actually getting you over more because now they're finding creative ways for me to lose or to win or lose but not lose the belt.
Right.
So it was again at the time I was like, oh, I want to like do stuff like I can do a little bit more than this. And he's like, no, this is stay the course. It'll come eventually. And it was probably like I don't know 7 months, 8 months, 7 months into it before I actually did anything. And that was just a hitting Jason with a forearm on the apron. And the place popped like crazy because that was like the first offensive move I ever did, aside from a tie-up.
Right.
So yeah, again, it's just learning the business. He said you have the hard. He told me I had the hard part down, the selling and getting the people behind you emotionally invested. He goes, that's the hard part, and you have that down already. He goes, and if you get over in Philadelphia, I mean, you'll be fine anywhere you go.
Did you like start believing in him more, like it just as a creative force? Because you started to hit on some things, some topic. He's definitely right.
Yeah, I mean, he was hitting everything. The whole angle with Shane Douglas and Terry Funk, and the whole blinding angle with the Sandman and Dreamer, and it's just like all this shit's like he was on like fire. Everything was fucking good. Plus it's Paul Lee. I'm thinking, okay, this guy was on TV. He's booking everything, and what I've seen him do so far is good. So I trusted him with everything.
Think about this. You did beat Steve Austin as well.
Yeah, all his idea. Because I was supposed to lose to him, I think.
Really?
Yep. And he said no, that he should put me over. And then, yeah, it was weird too because I went working with Sandman, who calls everything from A to Z. Like down to, like, you'll hear him counting in the ring sometimes. You hit me. 2, 3, 4, whack. Like, like to that cadence. I mean, I'd hear him in the ring. One time we were doing a double down and he's counting. 2, 3, get ready to move. 4, yeah, it's just wacky. And then going to work with Steve, who called the finish, and that was it. Well, he said, okay, we'll start the beginning. I'll take the guy out of the ring, I'll jump you. and then sunset flick, hook the tights. That'll be the finish. I said, okay. So I figured I'm just going to get beat up all the time, you know. And then we're on the floor, and I will never forget this. At least I hope I'll never forget this. He shoots me to the rail, and he gives me the Iggy reverse it, and he says, "Take over." So now, in the split second that it took, 2 seconds or whatever it was, I'm like, I had to comprehend the reverse because I didn't feel that coming at all. Then I'm listening to him tell me to take over. He takes the rail, and as I'm walking to him, I have no idea what to do. Take over? What the fuck am I gonna do? Then I'm thinking, this is fucking Steve Austin. Like, had these great matches with fucking Dustin Rhodes and team with Brian with Shane and Ricky Steamboat, and I'm going, well, take over, what? So I started punching him, and then I roll him into the ring. He goes into the corner, and I had no, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, now I can think, okay, well, we'll do some buckle spot or something, but I couldn't think of anything. So he's in the corner, and he must have knew I was just completely like, he starts pointing to his arm. You know what I mean? Tell him, don't hit my arm. So I started just kicking the shit out of his arm. And he goes, shoot me off, reverse stun gun. I said, okay. And then shoot reverse, and he gave me the stun gun. And then we went home from there. But I had I was shitting a pickle sideways. I had no idea what the fuck to do. Take over. Like, it sounds so stupid now.
Right.
Back in 1995, Steve Austin telling me to reverse and take over. Totally just.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
At the time, I felt like a complete idiot.
Do you think that he wanted you to go over because he wasn't going to stay around for long, and he knew you were there for the long haul, so he wanted you to win?
I don't know, because he hadn't signed with Vince at that point, not yet. So I just think he thought, let's put the kid over. Like, nobody will expect it. It's a good thing, but that just tells you how cool he is. Just as a person, like he thought it was best for business, and that's what he decided to do. But he sat me down afterwards, and he said to me, Mikey, he goes, when we're out there, right? And he goes, I'm not going to use myself as an example. He said, but say I'm Hulk Hogan, and you're you. He goes, when we're out there, we're like this. You need me as much as I need you, and we have to work together. So you can't be out there being like geeking out that,
yeah, right.
This, oh my God, this is fucking Steve Austin. Like, this is crazy. He said, you can't do that. He goes, it's good to think that before the match and after the match and all that stuff. He goes, and it can go through your head. He goes, but when you're out there, you have a job to do. And when I said take over, he goes, you should have beat the fucking shit out of me as best as you could. I said, no, you're right. He goes, so that's what I learned. And when I tell people, I said, when you're in the ring with somebody that you can learn from and is at this fucking level, give it to him. If it's just a squash, okay, it's just a squash. That's fine. But if you're given a chance to do shit with them, you're working together. It's not like I'm above you and you're going to do, you can't. You're working together. It's not me dominating you for real. We're working together, and you're letting me dominate you.
Right.
So that's when I learned that, okay, it doesn't matter who somebody is. Once you're in the ring, you got to do business. So, yeah. Good lesson to learn.
Pretty cool time, like, to have him in ECW. I know short stint, really, before he goes to WWF, but pretty cool to have him in there. And obviously Sandman's mixed in. I mean, good little feud there.
Yeah, it was fun. Again, the whole thing with Hack, and he was like, what the fuck? With the Hack, with the stick. He wasn't a big fan at first. But he did it right for himself, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He did a thing or two.
Whatever happened to that guy? I think he took the whippersnapper and turned it into a stunner.
Oh, Jesus. This is so funny. Like, I have never said that. People tell me, and I go, oh, okay. I don't make a comment, but I got it from Jimmy Garvin, who did it to Johnny B. Bad at a pay-per-view called the 911. And Steve got it from Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
Who I don't know if he got it from from Jimmy or he got it from, I don't know if you saw Johnny Ace doing it or whatever, but the Stunner and the Whippersnapper was born thanks to the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, I remember texting him one time because I was walking before I got married to my wife. We were walking down the mall, and this is probably 2009, 2010. But we're walking in the mall, and this guy comes up, and he wants to kick my ass. This guy, in the middle of the fucking mall. I'm like, what? He goes, dude, Steve Austin stole your finisher. You didn't do shit about it. And I thought he was kind of kidding. You know what I mean? But no,
Yeah,
he was serious. Like he was seriously angry and wanted to beat me up because I'm a pussy cunt. He said, and let Steve Austin steal my move, and I didn't kick Steve's ass. So I'm going to get into a fight now with this guy because he thinks that Steve Austin stole my move, and I didn't do anything about it. I go, this is fucking. So then the fucking Paul Bart comes over, this fucking little segue thing, and he, calms things out. But I remember I texted Steve right away. I said, dude, I got into a fight with this guy because, what happened. And he goes, people are fucked up. Which is crazy because it's honestly, it's like, this is okay. This is going to happen here.
Weird, like for him to do that. You figured maybe he would thought you stole Austin's move or something. That's a weird.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
And really wanted to beat me up. I guess because he figured he couldn't beat up Steve Austin because of Steve Austin, but he could probably beat me up.
Right.
So in a way, if he beats up the guy who gave Steve Austin his move, then I guess that's some sort of victory for him, I guess.
The whippersnapper. You just remember Joey Styles gets so excited about it.
Yeah. I didn't get so excited about it. But I stopped doing. I used to do it off the fucking middle rope.
Yeah, that's got to hurt your back and your spine, right?
Fuck that. People ask me, goes, can I do it? Go for it. Knock yourself out. So I just started trying to come up with stuff to do it differently off the mat, just different reversals and stuff to get into it. Because I figured that'd be a little bit more. I'll get a little more mileage on the tank.
Yeah, your tailbone. Yeah.
Oh my god! In the ECW ring, it wasn't too bad because that was a nice bump in ring. But you do like an indie or something like that, or even sometimes, the ring would after matches, the boards kind of shift a little bit. Sometimes you get some board overlapping another. Oh, the worst.
Man, yeah, crazy move though. Like if you think about it from the second row, because that's you taking that impact. Like,
yeah, like I figured it'd be fine because I've done leg drops. I figured it'd be like the same thing, but no, it just. I don't know. I guess because the way you're falling, I guess you're kind of when you're doing the leg drop, you're kind of leaning a little bit, and your kind of leg is up, and you're kind of posting with your arm.
Mm-hmm.
But with the stunner, you're kind of just taking it all ass.
Yeah.
Constant just. No wonder I have neck problems.
Yeah, there you go. It's same with Steve,
among other things.
Same with Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
All those neck issues.
Well, he had it from Owen, that power driver.
That's of course, yeah.
Started him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But as we hit the wind down, head towards the finish, gotta ask you just generic, curious question. It's like one of those things where I guess you just pull up YouTube, maybe a bunch of fans are like, oh, Mikey Whipwreck matches. What's some of your favorites that they can just type into YouTube? Like, oh shit, this guy was good. This guy's better than I thought he was. This guy's great.
The Kidman match, obviously, uncensored.
Yeah.
Yep. Some of the matches with PJ, just incredible. They were fun. A couple matches with Jerry. The match with Cactus, obviously. Probably my favorite is probably the match we did with the FBI, me and Tajiri, the night we dropped the belts to them. That was a real fun match to do. I remember enjoying that one. So, some of those. Maybe not the match with Van Hammer. That might be one that you want to avoid. That one will show you how shitty I am. As opposed to watch the Van Hammer match, and then watch the Kidman match. Don't do it the other way around.
Yes.
Because you'd be like, what the fuck happened? Like, what?
Yeah, what happened to this guy? Instead of saying, well, he got so much better. Yeah, even though the time frame was off. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going forward in reverse.
So Van Hammer wouldn't be your favorite opponent?
No, or Chase Tatum.
Right.
Yeah, no. Favorite opponent probably Guido.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Always had fun. It was just easy. PJ was always easy too. Jerry, for the most part, was fun, except he liked chain wrestling to blow me up.
Yep.
But probably Guido and Mamaluke, my favorite.
As far as Paul E, no tension with him anymore. Like if you saw him today, it'd be nothing. You're good with him?
Yeah. I was always pretty much good with him. Like, I was angry at the way things went down at the end and things like that. But what are you going to do?
Did you know anything? Because you always hear from the guys like CW Anderson when Paul E on Twitter went nuts that one time because CW Anderson said, "Oh, this guy's out there, filming rollerball while we're
Right.
trying to save the company." Like, were you thinking it's like, man, what is going on at this point? Like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, but again, that's how Paulie was because he never wanted to be negative. He never wanted to give anybody negative news. So every time we talked to him, it was always positive. But as it went longer and longer, you're going, I don't know, this isn't looking good. And then he showed up on Raw. And I go, yep, that's it. We're good now.
Yeah.
Guess I can fill my calendar with whatever I want to do.
He, wasn't there at the end, the last shows, right? In Arkansas, Pine
I
Bluff.
wasn't there either.
Oh, you weren't at the last one.
No,
Okay.
my last show was that pay-per-view.
Oh, not too far before it ended. Okay.
Yeah, January. Was it January?
Mm-hmm.
December? Whatever it was. The pay-per-view was the last show I did.
You knew like that was the end and you were done?
Yeah, once he came up on Raw. Yeah, we're like, okay, that's the end of this.
Yep. Now, as far as you and your retirement, quote unquote, you're going to be done for a while. You said except WrestleCon or
WrestleCon. That's it. So, like I said, again at the time of recording, I have two things coming up on Sunday. I have an online seminar I'm doing on the Saturday, and then Sunday we're doing it's like Cleveland and Erie, Pennsylvania, and then that's it. Like I've taken everything off the calendar. Like I have nothing to do. I might be doing a private seminar in Florida, in Tampa, that I said I would do before I decided not to do anything. So I figured I will. If they ask me to do it, I'll do it. But other than that, I'm just done with all this. Like I can't handle my kids crying when I pack a bag. And the pandemic is kind of what started because I kind of it used to be like when I was home, right? I couldn't wait to go somewhere. And then when I was out somewhere, I'd be good for a couple of days, and then couldn't wait to go home. But I did a seminar with Jerry in January down in Fort Myers. And like I didn't want to leave. Like I didn't even want to leave. Like I didn't when I was standing there, I couldn't wait to get home. I had fun. Don't get me wrong, hanging with Jerry and Scyther and King Mega and them, and all the people that came to the seminar. That was fun. But I just I just want to go home. Like, and then of course, all the mental issues I have and migraines and everything else. I just like being home with the kids. Like I got to see all their soccer games and like all the the school stuff. And I'm like, this is nice. I get to do all this. Then you think, well, they only live one. They're only young once. Not just yourself, but your kids too. So they're only gonna at this point they still want to spend time with me. So it's gonna get to the point where eventually I'll be the heel.
Yeah.
And then they're not gonna they're getting there's that couple year period, the teenage years, where they want nothing to do with the parents. But they're still at the point where I have probably maybe another year yet with my daughter. And my youngest is 4, so I got time there yet.
Oh my God, yeah, you got plenty of time.
So it's I'm appreciating it now, and I don't want to miss anything, if at all possible.
So I don't know if you have any plugs or anything you want to throw out there because you really don't want anybody bothering you, right?
Nope. Like all my, I'm taking all my stores down online. I just don't want to do anything. Like I'll be on Twitch, because I like to play video games. So I'll do stuff like that, and I'll be maybe corresponding on Twitter with people, but I just appearances and selling shit, and I just I'm just done with it. Like, I have too much going on. I just can't. When you go to Lowe's and you, like you said, you have that. I went for like 3 things, and just 20 minutes to a half hour, just no idea what the fuck happened. You know, I realize I'm in the fucking lighting aisle, looking at all the fucking lights. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, how did I get in this aisle? First of all, and
Right.
like, so yeah, it's crazy. Like, I can't see at nighttime. Night blindness is awful. You know, most wrestling shows are at night. So
Right.
if it's something local and I have to drive, I'd have to get a hotel, which is then another night away from the
home.
kids. So that's not good. Then, like I said, I get the mood swings are crazy. Like, which is part of the reason I'm not doing the podcast right now, because, like I told you before, I always have to be on and funny and entertaining. Which, if I'm in a good mood, like tonight, I don't know if you noticed when I started the interview, I was kind of like, eh. Like, but it's kicked in a little bit now where I actually feel okay talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's like pressure. Like, I have to be on, I have to be funny, and I have to be every Tuesday at 9:00. I have to feel this way, and if I don't, I have to fake it. And if I have a headache at the same time, then it's a real struggle. And I just like I don't fucking need this pressure to do this. Like, I just don't. So between that, the concussions, I get very lost when I talk. Like, this interview is not too bad, but I did one with Boogaloo and Lowrider on Sunday. And I get to how many times I just went to, like, what the fuck am I talking? Like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Where they'd ask me a question, and I'd be like, what did you ask me? Like, I don't know. And I'll start to stutter and stammer, like, which I kind of always did. I always talked fast. Which I always said, I don't talk too fast. You think too slow. That was always my thing. But now it's at the point where I'm like, like, I get tongue tied so easy. You know, so it's just it's frustrating, and it's crazy. Like I said about I can't hear anybody. Like, it's like, what? We watch a show with my wife, and I'm at the point now where I'll turn closed captioning on, so I don't have to ask you, what do you say? Because it's crazy. But no, it sucks, and it's frustrating, and you know, me having moments of, like I said, 20, 30 minutes of just dead space. You know, I don't think me going out traveling by myself all the time may be a good idea. I think it might be nice not to do that. Not that I'm overreacting to it, but you know, I don't need to have an incident where I'm in a car and kind of space out. And like I said, I don't know if I'm spacing out and I'm fine. Like, if anybody like would talk to me, I'd be fine. Like, they would go, oh yeah, hey, you know, they might think I'm a little off, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what I was doing for this 20 to 30 minutes because my wife said it just disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah. So
could be scary.
Yeah. So I don't need that, and I don't need to be driving my car anywhere on a road trip at night where I really can't see already. And then I fucking zone out, and then God forbid I hurt somebody in my car or myself or anything like that. So I don't know. I got these two shots I got to get through, which hopefully I will do them successfully, and this airs, it'll be, oh yeah, he did those. But hopefully they'll go nice and smooth, and we'll be good. The promoters have to put me in a hotel. Because I'm leaving Saturday afternoon, so I can drive Saturday afternoon in the daytime, and then the signing's over at 6:00 on Sunday. But he's put me up at a hotel Sunday too, so I don't have to drive at night. So I'm appreciative.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I don't sound like I'm whining and being like a downer, but these are the things that are happening. It's just, you know, it is what it is.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where I probably have to start looking at maybe getting a hearing aid. I'm like, this is like, and that's the stuff that makes me crazy. You know, the mood swings, I can kind of manage them at this point. But if you can't hear, you can't hear. You know, so like, what do I do? I keep saying what, or do I have to go to those miracle ear people? And I don't think I could probably fake it. I could probably get because I know on the iPhone, it'll like amplify the sound for you in the room. So I'm thinking, well, if I do that, I have my phone, and they just think I have earbuds in, then it won't be too bad. But if I have to walk around with a fucking hearing aid thing, I got 48 years old. It's kind of embarrassing, and
a little young for that.
It's silly that you like. Well, I'm embarrassed, but it's what it is, But I just don't. I don't like it. It's bad enough I feel fat, and then people see me and it's like, oh well, it's Mikey, but this looks nothing like Mikey. And then you hear the comments, "Hey, Bundy," which is not necessarily an insult because I love the great Bundy.
Yeah.
Or you hear Butterbean, or you hear the rumblings as they're walking past the table at the conventions. And of course I play it off like, haha, hey, funny guy.
Hey,
so don't forget Uncle Fester. Yeah. But like even like Sandman calls me fat all the time. But when he says it doesn't really bother me. Because I know it's hack and that's just how he is. He's actually a friend of mine, so it doesn't bother me. But when other people do it, I'm like, this stings. And I'm not being like a fucking snowflake about it. It's, you know what? When you take this, and there's like a plethora of things that could possibly go wrong with me making an appearance, on top of the social anxiety I have already, probably not a good idea. Probably a good idea for me to kind of just stay home.
And you were doing a bunch of signings for years. You were kind of racking them up there.
Yeah, and Jerry, if you ever get Jerry Lynn on here, he'll tell you that he'll ask me all the time, "You okay? You okay?" And he'll know that if I just have to, he goes, "Oh, let's go for a walk," and we'll just go somewhere. And I just gotta take the noise and all the commotion out of it because all the shit going on, I get wonky. But doing it with Jerry is always fun because he understands and he's probably like my best friend. So it's nice to have that from him. And it's fucking Jerry Lynn, for God's sakes.
Yes.
So yeah, so not to be downer and depressing here at the end, but this is how it is, and I'm telling everybody. So,
well, hopefully,
so anybody else feels this way, you ain't alone feeling this way. It's okay to feel shitty and be fucking off your rocker.
And hopefully, this isn't your last interview or last appearance. Hopefully, you maybe decide to get back out there and start doing them again.
I don't know. Like I said, stuff like this. And even these I'm not doing for a while. I got the one I'm doing Saturday, which again is already over.
Yeah.
But like I'm done. Like the promoter once he wanted me to do a signing, a virtual one. I go, no, I'm not doing it. He goes, oh, I'll pay you this much. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm thinking, God, that's a decent payday. Which is but like, no, I'm not going to do it. So then he offered to do it and have shit sent to my house, and I'll sign and then just ship it back to him.
Yeah.
Well, that I'll do because I don't have to do anything. I just sit in my house and just sign shit.
Right.
So that's okay. But I don't want to embarrass myself because it's only a matter of time before I do one of these interviews and it doesn't go well. And either going to say Mikey's on drugs or he's drunk or he's completely lost his fucking rocker. And I'd like to avoid that.
Yes.
So
at all costs, yeah.
At all costs. I mean, but if I did do it, and that's what people noticed, I mean, well, okay, well, it is what it is. I'm not on drugs, and I'm probably not drunk, but I will have a drink every now and then. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. Not at all. But no. hopefully, maybe in a little bit you relax, you settle down, and come back into the wrestling world because we're gonna miss you.
I don't know. I'll miss some people. Like I'll miss you, sir. You've always been good to me, cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
But it's time for me to just kind of go do what I got to do. And if you want to see me, you'll come to WrestleCon.
There you go.
And if you don't come to WrestleCon, you won't see me, and that's fine too.
All right, Mikey, thank you so much for all the time, and I appreciate being technically the last interview because we're going to pretend this is after that.
Yeah, we can do that. That's cool. Yeah. It's all at work.
Yeah, it's all working. Thank you so much for all the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.